All right, everybody, welcome back to Subverted Subversions, episode 23. Uh, it's me, your boy, your young Padawan, King Cringe, here to teach people monk Buddhist force things. Uh, with me is my other Padawan, Jesse Larkins.
What's going on, everybody? I guess I'm a Padawan. Yeah. I'm ready to retard Max over Star Wars.
Let's go. And also today to the one who started us off, you even suggested this idea. Our great Jedi Master or Sith Lord, Jack Norman. How's it going, bro?
Good, thank you. I'm from the same planet as Jedi Master Mundi, and because his planet is dying off, he was granted an extremely rare exception from the rules of the Jedi Order, and he was allowed to have sex. He was allowed to breed. So he would fly back to his planet, and he would breed with a bunch of women. So that I'm Jedi Master Mundi.
Just to be clear, you're the one Jedi that fucks.
Yes, yeah, and I don't even fall to the dark side, despite fucking like 10 times a day.
Does that mean like that's your Jedi Mormonism, right? You're the Brandon Sanderson of
Yeah, that's very true.
Star
That's a
Wars.
Jedi moment.
Jedi are just filled to the brim with cum about to explode.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's a great point, actually. He's not retaining, so who knows what that does to his midichlorian count.
The harder you retain, the more force midichlorians you have.
Yeah, I think so.
You lose them every time you come, so.
Yeah. But if anybody didn't guess, today we're going to be discussing Star Wars because all we do is steal Tuki's Mag's ideas when they were like, "Yo, they were like, we're gonna do a prequel versus original trilogy debate." And I was like, "That's really cool, you know." And then we waited like 20 million years and it never came out. So so here we are to debate whether the prequels are better than the original trilogy. That's the
Yeah, I
gist of
thought
it.
unfortunately it's not a debate though, because we all agree that the prequels are better.
Oh, that's true. But I mean, has anybody's opinion changed? Like Jesse, I know you haven't watched like Star Wars in a long time or something. Like, maybe you think the original trilogy is better than the prequel? Because we did come here in pretty slanted, pretty biased. We were all like, the prequels are going to be better. You know, I made a sick thumbnail for it, and it's like, you know, if we go back on this, I'm gonna have to redo a new one, which isn't cool. But
Yeah. I was like, oh man, I can't I can't sour the mood, of this parade here. I can't,
yeah.
this guy's already made a thumbnail. It's a great thumbnail. I can't go back on that now. Whatever opinion I had before, it's completely changed now for the thumbnail.
But yeah, actually, yeah. But watching it, did did you feel any different watching the prequel versus the original trilogy? Because I know Jack's locked in.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Well, I definitely I discovered a whole newfound appreciation for them completely because you know I I I kind of grew up through my teen years or whatever in the era of the the red letter media reviews. Like all my friends were sharing that around, and it just became uh like socially popular to just like dunk on George Lucas and to dunk on the movies and to not give them any leeway. So it was nice to actually go back, years separated from all that and to kind of just evaluate them completely on their own. And I thought they got progressively better and better as they went on.
Okay, makes sense. Actually, Jack, why don't you give us your thesis on why the prequels are better than the original trilogy? I don't. Did you watch all the 6 movies or?
I didn't, but there was no need for me to. because I've
Okay.
watched them all so
Lay,
many times.
lay it
Okay,
on us.
who went back and rewatched all 6?
I watched all 6.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Well, then give
Dang.
us your earnest reaction. You know, forget the thumbnail. What did you think?
Okay, yeah. Episode 5 has a shot. That's the only one out of the original trilogies that actually has a shot.
I agree.
Prequels pretty much smash otherwise. 4 is too slow. It's just a slow ass fucking movie. 6, it had a good beginning with the Jabba's palace stuff. That was fun, but it, um, yeah, I just think the prequels are better. Just about and pretty much in every single way, and everything that people detract from the prequels is like the original trilogy, just like the same thing. Like people are like Maul doesn't have a character, and you're like, well, Palpatine in the original trilogies, he just shows up at the back end, you know. He just there's an emperor now. You're like, okay, I guess, you know, it just random shit happens, okay, you know. And I guess prequels they have more lightsaber fights that are cooler, so that's where
Yeah,
I
yeah.
stand.
Definitely, no, I definitely like. I think that the when I listened or read to any criticism about the prequel trilogy in general, and when it falls on those, I don't know, like those standard film school criticisms. Uh, I'm assuming that these are film school criticisms, like such as Maul doesn't have a character, or the Phantom Menace doesn't suffers from the lack of a main character. My feeling is that I these things are totally irrelevant
Mhm.
to the because the prequel trilogies and or Star Wars in general is so pregnant with the vibe of Star Wars with its own unique, very legitimate energy that I really don't care about the whatever traditional technique is being overlooked or you know or done erroneously, because like people would say the same thing if you look at the sequel trilogy, the Disney trilogy. People said something to the effect of halfway through that sequel trilogy, the big replacement emperor is unceremoniously killed, you know, like that, despite he has not been sufficiently introduced to the audience or whatever. Like even for me, I'm a major sequel hater, but that's irrelevant too. I don't what it this is like it's a gigantic operatic space fantasy, and I'm not very interested in these traditional archetypes that are supposed to be explored. Oh, the Maul needs character. Like he obviously doesn't because he's a character in that one scene where he stands in that as the doors open and he stands there and ignites his double-bladed lightsaber and looks cool as fuck. He's obviously a character.
Yeah, your
You
Mhm.
don't need
argument is
more than that.
irrelevant. We has a double bladed lightsaber. That's
It it is, yeah, and it's that is so. Everyone knows Darth Maul much as they know Darth Vader. And again, like it's not to the sequel trilogies to me feel so irrelevant. They're kind of not worth talking about. But the fact that no one even remembers them, or the fact that they are irrelevant, is a great example of what the prequels did right because you
yeah,
remember so much about the prequels, whether you think they're technically sound or not. And that's the more important part: is its legitimacy, its authenticity.
yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah. Go on, Jesse.
I was just gonna say, like, yeah, the the sequel ones was clearly them just like listening to the laundry list of fan complaints and trying to like meet all of them, just like trying to meet all of their standards by basically just giving them all the exact same things that they enjoyed in the original ones, but still kind of co-opting like what Lucas had like painstakingly developed in his prequels to make something that they thought would appeal to everybody. But and yeah, now you look at what happens when you make something so generic, so completely middling, and that's so desperate, desperately pleading for your attention that it just fails and is completely unremarkable.
Yeah, and I think it just proves that like you should never listen to fans because like the whole RLM thing where they were like, we just want like a new hope, and like they gave it to them with episode 7, and it's just like like you're just doing the same thing again, and people really are that fucking stupid, you know. I love to say it. Fuck the audience, okay?
Yeah, totally, totally.
Yeah.
And it's just it's because it's such hubris to tell the creator that they don't understand. And I
Yeah.
realize that his vision may have diverted or whatever, and he may have, because obviously there are decades in between these films. So it may be true because he's not obsessive. The creator is not obsessive over his work in the same way that the audience is. So it may be true that he left these ideas dormant in his head, and he picked them up decades later, and maybe he misremembered, possibly, because I don't even fully subscribe to this. But even if he did misremember the themes, it's his. It's still his, and I don't understand where the audience demand for a particular thing is meant to be legitimate, uh, unless in the meantime it's been handed off to somebody else, whether it's Star Wars or anything else. And uh, like when the again, when the sequels were poorly received, the director Ryan Johnson of the middle film, I can't remember what it's called. He
Last Jedi.
he The Last Jedi. He said he was very he believed that fans were very disturbed because he successfully subverted their expectations, and he did different things with the series than they had ever thought. That that they didn't want different things to be done with the series. That he was changing things, to develop or to evolve Star Wars. But the prequels, they literally did expand on the mythology of Star
Yeah.
Wars. They went back in time. They created a universe that was just as consistent within the kind of lore of the world. And if the complaint is that the Phantom Menace, say, and this is another one, Jesse, of those kind of generic laundry list complaints that people just seem to say without even meaning it, that the fact that the Phantom Menace deals with the nature of politics, it's for some reason apparently allegedly bogged down in senatorial politics, when that's like 2 scenes, 3 scenes. And the notion of politics is just used as basically an aesthetic to demonstrate that there was a bureaucracy that could be subverted the way that the emperor eventually does. So it's just this, and so it expands on the concept of the Old Republic, which is indeed referenced in the original trilogy, and it goes on to do many, many different things in a much more operatic way, frankly, than the original trilogy. That's expansive. That is exploration. That is true to the universe and true to like the creative challenge of doing something more. Uh, and again, that's what that's why the prequels deserve a lot more even than the original trilogy.
No, but I would say I like the politics a lot because George is actually doing a lot when he's actually doing it. Like he could make the politics way more complex, but he actually does a really good thing where like he economicizes the politics. Like it's kind of crushed down to like its simplest forms, and you understand that like, oh, Palpatine is like playing both sides against each other. It's actually quite fun when he's making moves, even if it's like really childish, where he's just like his entire strategy like is just gassing up Anakin. He's like, "You're so great," you know. And it's kind of childish, but you understand that he's making moves, and it makes it fun compared to like the original trilogy where it's just like rebels fighting the evil empire, and that's kind of it, and there's like nothing interesting going on in the background basically. So
Yeah, I agree. I agree because where the seventh film attempted desperately to replicate the simplicity of Rebels versus Emperor, because that was apparently the necessary part of the formula. You're right. The Palpatine arc, the Palpatine subversion arc, in its form, in the way that it's presented to you, it's actually not that much more complicated than Rebels versus Emperor. It's sneaky guy plots basically,
Yeah.
and it really spells it out to you, but you get to feel like you do feel rather investigative as you watch his plots come to fruition. True.
Yeah. How'd you feel about the politics, Jesse? Were you like into them, not into them, like too long, too
Um,
drag?
it was a little jarring because um I guess I just like wasn't I wasn't prepared for for it to like go into some of the for it to go into some of the political speeches and stuff like that. I kind of had to like tune my ear to it a little bit. I was like, "Oh shit, okay, I wasn't I didn't, because the original ones you almost like you could almost have them on in the background and you could still understand all the details. Whereas with Phantom Menace, I felt like, okay, I really actually gotta like pay attention and tune my ear to kind of make sure that I'm like following, the details. But um, yeah, so I didn't find it as completely derailing probably as other people did. I do find it funny that he definitely toned that down. Like he like listened. He definitely listened to people's complaints about it because the beginning of episode 2 starts with Anakin telling Obi-Wan like, "Hey, don't lecture me more about politics,"
Yeah, yeah.
or like
Yeah.
like the specifics of politics or something like that. So he did kind of give like a winking nudge to the fans, being like, okay, I may have overdone it, but I do think that there needed to be some kind of complicated like origin, like a base point for all of this to kind of be erupting from. So I'm not totally like upset by that or anything. Yeah, and then obviously as the prequels go on, that part just becomes more and more simplified and just way more direct and streamlined.
Yeah. But I would say, like, just to throw this in, prequels, the politics are more relevant, and I, I I was watching it, and it was almost like pre-programming. Okay, like take a walk with me, guys. Okay, so you have Palpatine, right? Let's just call him Donald Trump. Okay, and he's there's a left wing, right, of like the separatists, and there's like the right wing clone armies, and he creates both. Let's imagine this is like the SPLC or some shit, and they're just creating both, and then somehow there's an assassination attempt on Palpatine, aka Trump, okay, and this galvanizes the political movement against him, and then he could, you know, gains control over the empire, and now we're in forever wars with Iran or something. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it
No,
was
no.
it was
It's
oddly fucking relevant.
it is, yeah, and it's also funny the way I don't you may have seen it. Alex Jones, he has a really popular 2 minute clip about the prequels.
Really?
Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah. And he gives the perfect summation of the prequels story from start to finish, all three films, in 2 minutes. And he's like, Emperor Palpatine, a little known senator from Naboo, finances this guy, and he's like just basically describes the plot. And then and then at the end he's like, these are child level ideas that people couldn't understand. But he points out as well that um, it's extremely allegorical for for our current day, for the modern American empire. So
Yeah. And like I think you were talking about it, Jesse, like the, with the Alan Wake thing, like does artists, do they create the world? And it's like thinking about like intentionality in your writing, like are we creating the world, like where George Lucas writes this and it somehow gets into like the human consciousness, and then people just start replicating Star Wars, even unless George Lucas is part of the Illuminati, that like it's kind of interesting how like it kind of parallels Star Wars, like the world we're living in right now, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, and the fact that in like another great kind of parallel to that is like what I was just saying, that the fact that he is like actively like writing them in real time.
Yeah,
Like it's not like he wrote all three films and then they were done. It's like he's constantly reworking them as they're coming out, and as he's like responding to the public criticism. um yeah, it's like fiction and reality are constantly, like the relationship between them is constantly like blurring and playing into each other.
yeah, and I think like the original trilogy was like looking backwards. It's like looking backwards at the Vietnam War, at World War II. It was like past looking, right? Whereas the prequels, since it was made in like the early 2000s, I mean, obviously there was the whole George Bush thing, but it seems more predictively forward, which I think makes it more interesting than the original trilogy. Um,
Yeah, very true. People have an easier
Yeah.
time understanding or accepting allegories for mm, like the mythologized eras of history than they do for the present day because nothing is ever really successfully mapped one to one in terms of allegory.
yeah,
But if you weren't there in World War II, it's hard to feel that reaction to, oh, this is incorrect, or this is not, this isn't representative of my electoral politics at this very moment. you know but then when something tries to adapt the present day, you buck against it. But now, because the prequels are rather old, now it's actually easy to see them, to see that broadly they were, as you say, they were predictive of something, and very poignantly too.
yeah, that's crazy. Oh,
And I the again, the politics is it's more and more interesting the more I think about it, because, and this isn't, not that this is the first time I'm thinking it, but the films do a really great job of uh, complicating the nature of the Jedi being kind of embedded in the bureaucracy,
yeah,
especially when they're ostensibly this monkish order who they have their own pacifist aims, but they're basically the secret police in some cases. I don't,
Right.
or they're a paramilitary arm of the Republic, and they reject that. They would reject that notion all the whole time. And I don't even know if this was intentional by Lucas, because I don't think that there's ever a clear on the nose depiction of this. But they would reject that definition, up until the moment, and even during the moment that they're literally fighting in the war on behalf of the Republic against, you know, political separatists. Like
yeah,
that question is never truly answered. Well, why? Why are we doing this? Um, and yeah, all the characters do seem to struggle with that, though. Like the individual characters do. They're very nervous about the way in which the Jedi are being drawn into these politics. So again, like I just think politics is used as a really really generative aesthetic for this
yeah,
trilogy, and it is not. It's never actually. There's a funny. It's just a Simpsons. It's just a Simpsons gag. So it's whatever. It's always not to seethe. I promise I'm not. But there's that gag where the AT-AT storms into the senatorial galactic building and pulls out a big scroll and spends 40 seconds reading through some legislature or something. You know, there's never that. That never actually happens. There's
yeah,
never actually a boring scene that is bound up in the day to day of politics. That doesn't actually ever happen. The scenes where the Republic is meeting, they're flying around on fucking cool spaceships in a gigantic sphere. You know,
yeah,
it's really cool to imagine politics being done that way. A galactic republic meets in this whatever, in this like this Las Vegas sphere type thing, and they all have representatives and they're all cruising around, and Jar Jar's a Gungan. Like there's a you know like it, in Australia recently we had this extremely contentious referendum about a First Nations voice being kind of enshrined in our constitution, so that Indigenous Australians will always have kind of a mandated representative in our government in some form or another, and that's to because obviously the Indigenous Australians are our Gungans, and we the kind of Anglo mainstream Australia, we're the Naboo people of
Yeah.
Naboo and so on, and but Jar Jar's there for that reason, because she's like, yeah, we need to. There needs to be some reconciliation. That word is used daily here in Oz, reconciliation, but it doesn't. Obviously, there's no need for the film to describe that or to beat you over the head with the idea that there's some human rights, boring racial reconciliation act going on there. No, you just see Jar Jar and Padme kind of as a united front. As you say, it condenses these extremely long, boring ideas into just one image, and it's there.
Yeah.
It's politics really done really well.
And it may be more generative than we think, because like one thing that struck out to me was like the word democracy. Like you hear that all the time in like left wing politics now, with like Trump is killing our democracy. We have to save our democracy, right? And it's like that happens in Star Wars, right? So was it like
Yeah.
kids growing up, they just watch Padme go, this is how democracy dies," or whatever the fuck, and then like now they're just using it in their like fucking Obama campaigns or whatever the fuck, where they're like, we have to save democracy, right? Like Star Wars is influencing the way the vernacular of politics goes.
And funnily enough, all the characters, pretty much all of them, in the films, they use the term democracy with just about as much cynicism and flippancy as you say, as people do now. They even like, because Palpatine's always like, "Oh, democracy, we must protect democracy," and it's just some random word he's using to his own ends, the same way
Yeah.
that people do.
You can't do this shit in the original trilogy, bro.
You can't. No,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't. Because the prequels, they're
Yeah.
conceptually expanded. He expanded on the world, and then that's what I mean about. That's why I kind of the sequels did not. The sequels are reductive. They
Mhm.
Yeah.
say they're doing new things. They say they're doing different things. None of the words sound good. They start out on the planet Jakku, and like it's like by the way, it may actually be that the nomenclature of the Star Wars galaxy for George Lucas is just make up random funny sounding words. That's probably, I think, just the way he does it.
Yeah.
But then when someone else does it, straight away I'm like, no, fake, not real.
Yep.
Don't believe it, I don't believe it. Fucking all the Jedi in the prequels, their names are like Plo Koon, Kiadi-Mundi, Mace Windu, just random names, I seriously think they're random. But every one of them I'm bought in from the get-go. And, and then the sequels come along, and it's just, it's just so demonstrative of, it just, again, the way, every way in which the sequels failed to expand or evolve or adapt, it just proves the way that the prequels actually did.
Yeah, and I think if I remember correctly, like I think part of the reason is they're avoiding like licensing or whatever. Like they made Jakku because they didn't want to use Tatooine because they would get all the royalties if they like used Jakku instead. So they're just making
Oh,
up new
okay.
things
Yeah,
so they
yeah.
can like
Uh-huh.
get royalties instead of just like making something that like fit and worked, which would just be using Tatooine in the fucking movie again. you know?
Yeah, and like the in the prequels, the capital planet is called Coruscant, right?
Yeah.
That wasn't made up by Lucas. That was made up by Timothy Zahn in the first approved official novel, the Thrawn trilogy. People talk about it all the time. I haven't even read them. But, they're the very popular series of books that came directly after the films. And that author just said, yeah, the capital planet is called Coruscant. And Lucas just kept that for the films.
Yeah.
And then when the sequels came along, they like the Sith planet is meant to be called Korriban, and the Disney heads of canon just said, "Oh no, that's not true. It's actually called Moraban," and they just changed it.
Fuck.
And but it's and whatever. Not to get, I'm not making a that's a personal, I'm seething over canon there. But it's funny that they couldn't even. Yeah, there was no connection to the old universe, so it just broke. The whole connection was broken at that point.
Yeah. So.
It's crazy how much it's like these movies were like little artistic bombs that just like explode in people's brains and like sets off like creativity like no other. Like the ripple effect of creativity that is spawned outside of just like the bubble of these movies is absolutely astounding and can't even be quantified or measured in any sort of way. It's it's like that's why like when these new ones came out, people were like, I've been reading like better Star Wars like fan fiction and even better Star Wars like published books than anything remotely like involved in these movies.
The sequels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. The sequels, like you're right. The expanded universe is really something special. Um, people will. I think like there's this kind of like thing people do to assert their kind of intellectualism, and people say, I hear this phrase often, and they go, "The expanded universe is trash," and a lot of it is because it is just fan fiction. It's just fan fiction, so there's no reason why it should, as a rule, be good. But what LucasArts did, and I think for quite some time George Lucas was rather involved in the process because he would make public commentary about things. For example, he said at a certain point in time, he said, "I'm not approving any additional Wookiee Jedi because that's an insane idea." And I think it was done a couple of times just for the novelty of it. But he didn't want it said that throughout the lore of the universe there would be something like over 30 Wookiee Jedi when it's meant to be an extreme anomaly. But whatever, LucasArts used to approve expanded universe material uh, in an editorial capacity in general, but then they would also rank the material in a tier list of what was canon. Like your expanded universe material could be approved for production, and yet it would be given a canon tier listing of D, which is to say that the ideas you've put in this book, if there's anything original in there, it'll be easily superseded by tier C, B, and A, first of all, other fans, and then ultimately everything is superseded by the films, which is just this extremely complex system of continuing that artistic influence that comes from that trilogy, and just that system alone is testament as well to the influence that the
Yeah.
that the prequels had, but also the original trilogy too had a quite a I think it had a there was a substantial expanded universe by the time the prequels came about, but without a doubt the prequels just, as you say, it completely exploded creativity in other people. The Knights of the Old Republic series, both of them, incredible kind of stories as they are, Coda 2 obviously being the superior iteration there.
Yeah, we're gonna fight on this shit, bro.
They're built completely out of the prequels. Coda 2 deals directly with that whole notion of Jedi being embedded in the bureaucracy. That's what they got that from the prequels in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have much to say. I like Star Wars. I like KOTOR 1 because it was a finished game. Which is basically. This is some nerd shit, Jesse, but like, I remember playing KOTOR 2, like, Nar Shaddaa had a lot of stuff in it. But then, like, after Nar Shaddaa, like, basically, like, all the planets, there was barely anything to do. And the story got, like, wacky. It's been a long time since I've played, though, so.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever
I've never played them.
Yeah. But maybe the story was good. Like, it's been a long time, but I just remember, like the Korea where she was just like, you give money to a poor person, it's like, oh, but then that poor person got robbed and got killed, and I'm just sitting here like, so I should just do nothing. But you can expand on that,
No,
Jack.
no. You're supposed to grow a backbone and assert your own beliefs.
Okay.
Because if you come away thinking I should just do nothing, much later in the story, Kreia will condemn you for that, and she will tell you apathy is death. So no, you should
Okay.
actually do something. But you should do something regardless of the chiding of an old woman.
So she's just like browbeating, like you don't
Well,
understand,
hey,
Jesse. Like in the first game, right? You have this like hot bitchy Jedi that you get to fuck, and she's like your companion for the first game. But in the second game, they have this like old hag that's like, "Yo, you suck." Like every steps you take in this game, this bitch is like nagging at you all the time, you know?
yeah,
And
yeah. Well,
yeah,
so Jesse, having not played it,
yeah.
tell us, Jesse, what's more literary out of those two? Seriously, what sounds more literary to you?
um, well, the first one, but what
Sure.
Let's
years were
go.
they released?
03 and 05, 02 and 04, something like that.
Really? And
Yeah,
they
between
and they have
2002.
that massive difference in female like tagalongs?
Well, they were done by different developers. Coda 1 was
Yes.
done by BioWare, and Coda 2 was done by Obsidian.
Yeah.
So they,
Oh,
I mean,
Jesus.
just to give my like taste, probably like I watched a guy, one of my friends, play like Fallout New Vegas, which was made by Obsidian. Couldn't get into it. I guess I'm just not an Obsidian guy, but I know people love like Obsidian games. So
Oh wait, what sounds more literary? Oh, I
yeah,
mean, I guess what Jack was describing, but who would you rather pal around with? You know, a hot bitch.
yeah. But Bioware is like they make the mainstream Mass Effect series with the gun pew pews and like the fucking what are the blue people in Mass Effect? There's blue people you can fuck in Mass Effect too.
yeah, I
That's
don't know.
cool.
I know, yeah, they like very sexy aliens that everyone wants to have sex with.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Mass Effect, so Bioware is basically the blockbuster stuff. While I guess Obsidian, you get more into the weeds and the because they do have cool concepts
Yeah, 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 yeah.
in
That's
two.
that's the that's the very that's the nature of it. Obsidian's the kind of edgy cousin, right?
Yeah, because we're just talking about like some nerdy shit that Jesse has no idea what the fuck is going on. We're just like nerding
Yeah,
out on like
well,
niche RPG games.
well,
Oh
but
well,
that's
I in my you know just like my grasping at straws. I'm like, oh yeah, well I know Mass Effect is you get to kind of determine your own outcome. Sort of, it's about like forming your own character, and that kind of I can piece that to what Jack was saying.
yeah. I think in particular Obsidian, but obviously in this context, Coda 2, Knights of the Old Republic 2, it is that's the idea, is that it permits you to develop a character way more than Knights of the Old Republic 1 does, because Knights of the Old Republic 1 could be compared to like A New Hope from the original trilogy, where
Yeah,
the ideas are very square, straightforward. Your dialogue choices are 1, 2, 3, and they're generally like, do I want to donate credits to this homeless person, or do I want to murder him in the street? Literally, that's like one of the choices you're given. It's like you just can choose to kill him or to give him charity, which is funny. And then obviously, like Knights of the Old Republic 2 is more concerned with you being what they call a grey Jedi. You have a more complex moral system, and you don't subscribe necessarily to good guys and bad guys. So yeah,
I will say
but I
like
get.
you're kind of selling me on it. I may have to replay KOTOR 2.
I,
That may
I say
happen.
that I say that to everyone because so many people tell me, I tried to play Coda 2, it just sucks. But I'm like, man, you sort of have to pay attention. Like you kind of have to read, and you kind of have to. It has a slow pace to begin with, but that like you should just go with the flow. You should go with the slower pace, and like because part of the one of the conceits of the story is Kreia, the old woman. I'm talking to you, Jesse, I guess, because you haven't played it, but I'm talking to you, Cringe, as well,
Yeah.
because you don't have any reading comprehension, I suppose. So I have to
I
explain the
speed
story to
read.
you. Yeah, yeah. Kreia is like her. She's kind of a Sith herself, as it turns out. But she's not either, nor is she, because she, even as a Sith Lord, nor does she subscribe exactly to dark side, light side in any sort of way. And she is opposed to the Force in general. She actually views the Force as a very sinister handicap, particularly for Jedi. And she believes that the Jedi eventually come to rely on the Force, so much that the Force itself tends to make decisions on behalf of the Jedi without them even knowing. And her belief is that if you stripped a Jedi of the Force and disconnected them from it, that they would be kind of helpless and they would have no more agency than a woman or a child. A single, whatever. I'm sexist. A woman or a child, right?
Yeah.
And you start the film, you start the game as a former Jedi who was indeed disconnected from the Force, and you have to prove yourself as a capable person despite your severed connection. So that's the reason why the Kreia takes such an interest in you, because in some sense you have sort of disproved her theory, and yet you gradually reestablish your connection to the Force, and you go on to become either her protege or her greatest failure. So yes,
So
it's very interesting. But to your point, Jesse, like it wouldn't that none of that whole story, which is extraordinary, Coda 2, it wouldn't be possible without the prequels, because of their astounding creative influence. And like, not to put you on the spot, Jesse, but like, are you just generally aware of the creative potential in the expanded universe, or is there anything from that universe that you understand or enjoy?
I just the general, because this stuff is not really for me. Like I I'm just not a big like sci-fi fantasy action. I mean, I guess I kind of am in certain ways, which kind of makes me sound like a faggot, but but I haven't done my due diligence of like trying to know what's been out there. So you giving me this lore dive has been fascinating. I didn't realize that it could actually get so complicated and in the weeds of the like the creative potential for some of this stuff. I do remember it's gonna sound silly, but I do remember my first experience with realizing the potential of it was like in like eighth grade. In the back of my math class, I sat with this kid who was reading. Oh God, I forget what it was called, but it was pretty popular at the time. It was like this big, like thick hardcover book with a stormtrooper helmet on it, covered in blood, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And he proceeded to explain basically just this like fan fiction story of like this thing that was basically completely irrelevant to the Star Wars lore, but was basically just the whole book was about being on a ship and like a zombie like virus outbreak sort of thing happens, and like all these people just start getting they just start dying in really horrendous fucking ways. And you do see like Han at one point, but it's mostly this contained story about like stormtroopers just like dying. and and I just remember at the time being like, oh man, like this, just the potential for it is so much more expansive and beyond what like what I'm even imagining. I just didn't know that people took it to this extra place. That was my first experience with witnessing something like that.
Yeah, it's when I was talking to uh, Dave and Gabe on Tooks, we were talking about like the whether or not George Martin is universe maxing as a kind of as a strategic play. To rather than finishing his series of books, is he kind of cultivating a new Marvel universe, say, for example, or expanded universe, as in this case? And we were also talking about how um, fans of a work, particularly like extremely dedicated fans, they remain locked in to that universe, kind of like almost 24/7, or at least for forever. They remain locked. Like I have been embedded in the Star Wars universe, understanding it conceptually as this, pretend/real place in my mind for my whole life. Whereas I truly think that Lucas, as the creator, uh, is like fully not only capable but actually incapable of not just switching off from it and not being immersed in it whatsoever. But what I really am, it really does interest me, the idea of a somewhat dispassionate creator, handing out those licenses as he did to dedicated fans whom he has made the editorial decision, like, this is aligned with the world. I can say for a fact this is aligned in some way or another with the world, and therefore you've now been inducted into the canon of the world. Because that story, although it is fan fiction, the one you mentioned, I don't know what it is. It's made suddenly not fan fiction once Lucas or his representative reads it and approves it and then says, no, this is now Star Wars. And then that kind of expands the creative boundaries of what is and isn't Star Wars, and I think that that's a great way for, I don't know, that would be I would love to get, to the question, as I mentioned. Oh, there you go. You got it. Wow.
Oh shit!
I just sent I sent a pic to the group chat.
Yeah.
Death
Great.
Troopers.
That's a great cover. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is. Yeah. Yeah. Like, to answer not your question, but to the sort of broader question of, is George Martin, is he strategically making a Song of Ice and Fire universe? I would want to do that. That would be that seems like the most ideal way to step back from your world, is to let it thrive in the hands and hearts of other people, and you just have kind of the final ultimate say on what actually contributes to it, if it is indeed generative and contributive.
It's definitely healthier than saying it doesn't belong to you anymore. It belongs to us.
Yeah, I know, right? That's exactly right. That's right. And then, like, the Disney with Star Wars, they proclaimed, after they purchased the IP, they made it like a kind of a proclamation, and they said there is a new canon. The new canon begins now, and they everything else was null and void, which is confronting.
I don't know if I disagree with you guys, but I guess from my point of view, anything that isn't the original creator is fan fiction. And I guess my optimal view would be, once you're done with whatever you're done with, just put it in the public domain, and then everybody can make their own fan fictions, like that's how, like, the Wizard of Oz lives on, essentially, or like Zeus, or all these other stories, like it does eventually become everybody's, I think. But
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's the obvious answer.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
fans who just say, like, give it to us, George, are annoying, and they need to be shot. So
Well, yeah, I'm mostly mean, like, yeah, those ones who, because before he made the prequels, he went back and added, digital effects and modern 90s graphics into the original films, and that caused a ton of backlash where, yeah, you were seeing the sentiment from fans being like, it doesn't belong, these movies don't belong to you anymore, you have no right you have no right to touch them, even though you made them, and all this stuff. So it is just funny, the the entitlement that, even if it is like, yeah, I've given this to you guys, it's like, it is still his. Like, he has every right to do whatever the fuck he wants with it.
But the weird part is, like, the religiosity of it all. Like, where these guys, like, I think you gave us the doc, was like the People versus George Lucas, and like the first opening
Yeah.
minutes, this guy is like, no, you don't understand. It's more than just movies. It's Star Wars. And I'm sitting here like, no, they are just movies, bro. Like, what is this shit?
Yeah, I know. But they are though. They are more. They're like I completely understand what you're saying. Like they are just movies, and um like I've used this example I think a couple of times. I think I've said it out loud and written it even somewhere. But like I sometimes find I see these. You may have seen them as well if you an aficionado of YouTube slop. But like I'll see these videos and they'll say something like maybe it's Lord of the Rings. I don't know, whatever the easiest franchise is for you to understand. And there'll be a video. It'll be like 20 minutes long, and the video's title will be like, "What if Frodo never got the ring? What if actually? What if Gimli got the ring?" And then it's this. It's just 20 minutes of speculation, and then it's like, based on all the lore, we could reasonably assume that actually Gimli would have taken it to the fucking halls of the dwarves. And then
Mhm.
and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, and it is just, there's no different than fan fiction, really. It is just a form of fan fiction. But the way they engage with that question, with that what if, they engage with it like as seriously as though the ramifications, like you could reasonably ask today, what if the United States were to escalate the war in Iran, and what if they targeted the energy infrastructure, or whatever you want to, like, whatever has actual serious implications. They engage with these what if questions in the very same way, and I start to wonder, because with fan fiction, if you, let's say you wanted to read fan fiction, you go out and you seek out fan fiction, and it's a fictional story, it's a narrative. Obviously, you're like, this is just a story, and I'm enjoying it because I don't care about, I don't need the seal of approval from whomever. I'm just going to enjoy the story. When I watch those videos, I do start to question, when I see them, rather, I start to question, like, does this person knows it's not real, right? Do they understand that it's not real?
Bro, I hate all those people so fucking much, dude. It's like, because the answer is like, I don't know if like you know this, but like authors just make up shit, bro. Like they can just
Yeah,
write
that's right.
whatever, and
That's
it's just
right.
like you're
Yes.
putting too much thought into this. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously the authors put thought, and like you can, but it just comes from. It almost feels like they're trying to be experts on like some fucking universe or some shit. Like I am the Lord of the Rings expert, and you will respect me or some shit.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and as you say, the author, even if the author has put in the utmost thought to create the story, and they've put all the pieces on the board, and they know where everything stands, and that kind of informs their decision. Even so, if you were to change one of those uh, criteria or whatever, um, it would still just be the author making something up. They would say,
Yeah.
"All right, well now the board's changed. Well, this would happen," and then it's like you can't be predictive with what you can't be like. We have all this information, therefore we can predict. No, it's another person's brain making it up. It's not real, and the only place it exists is contained within the individual select pieces of media that you consume it from. You know, you can't.
Yeah.
It doesn't extend beyond that.
But it also extends into real life too, where like people make predictive statements. Like we watch the doc where they're like, George Lucas is just a money man because from all of his actions, he just cares about making the most money. But if you like zoom out 20 years later, like no, actually George actually really fucking cared about the movies, and you can see it because you have Disney making just utter dog shit, and like all their predictive woo woo wah wah was just like retard nonsense that you just made up in your head that like George is some kind of greedy guy or some shit. Like no.
Yeah, George literally has made like 5 movies, and
Yeah.
they're all Star Wars. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
made the first one in 77, whatever it was, and then he didn't make another movie until episode 1. It's just, it consumes him entirely. Like you hear about those autistic kids who literally develop, yeah, like an entirely in-depth fantasy world with a lore, an interconnected lore and everything in their heads. Like that is George. Like George, like he has the entire universe in his head, and that's just like where he exists. Like all these ideas, all these like times he's claimed like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make little personal films in my spare time that no one's gonna see. That's bullshit. It's just Star Wars. That's all it is for him.
Apologize.
It was just apologize.
Apologize to George.
Yeah. But like,
Um,
also, I want to bring something up about the sequels. Like, the sequels is basically it's just female Star Wars. Um, if you
yeah,
notice,
gay
cause
DEI female Star Wars.
yeah,
Yeah.
cause like I think a big thing about the plot. Listen, I only watched till 7, and then I didn't watch anymore. But so
Yeah, I
I don't
didn't
know
even
the
watch them. Yeah.
Good for
you
you
didn't even
guys.
watch what?
I just like got bored. I just couldn't
Yeah.
finish the trilogy. I didn't watch the last film. It just didn't
Yeah.
matter.
But I think like a central part of the story is like Ray falling in love with with what's the guy's name? Ben, the main villain
Kylo
guy.
Ren.
Yes,
Kylo
yeah,
Ren.
Kylo.
Kylo. Like that's just peak female fiction. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what Star Wars became. It's just like this sucks now. That's cool.
She falls in love with the bad guy.
Yeah, it's literally
Yeah.
like one of those romantic fucking books where
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
hot and sexy
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all that shit. So and it didn't work out. What do you know? You need fat people who love Jewish actresses. That's
No, that's true. Very true. You need a sexy Jewess. You can't. You can't get. You can't have some British Gentile being a goofy dickhead. You can't do that. You need you need a handsome American young man, and you need a sexy Jewess, and that is really how you do it. Natalie Hirschlag, she's so sexy in the prequels.
yeah. That's true. That's true.
Natalie Hurt.
That's
Hirschlag.
Natalie Portman's real name.
Is it really? What the
Yeah.
fuck? Hirschlag.
Yeah.
Which by the way, further proof that the prequels are better than the original trilogy. I would fuck Natalie Portman 10, 20 times over the person who was Leia. I forgot her name. Carrie Fisher. That's what it is.
Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? She was such a cutie though. When you see pictures of her,
True.
she was such a little cutie. But no, I think you're right. I think Hirschlag's way hotter. That's a great point.
And it's crazy because Leia had the bonus of the slave suit. You know, that was a power move. But
Yeah, defs.
I think you
Yeah,
were saying that Jesse like wasn't in there that long though.
Yeah, I was saying last night that she's only you only see her in for like 3 minutes. She's in that. It's so brief. You just have to imagine. It was like the promotional materials for her in that outfit extended far beyond her in the movie in that outfit. Like, look at that. Yeah, what Jack just
Yeah,
said.
I'm
like
gooning right now.
there was so much promotional photo shoots going around showing that off, and then when you actually watch the movie, it's like one scene and it's not that long.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Holy shit, yeah.
yeah, I know. Hirschlag in the Attack of the Clones with that whole on Geonosis when she's in that white shirt, the tiger scratches her back. She like screams out, she like she cries. She extends her breast as she cries out. It's very very sexy, and I think it's way hotter, and it's way more refined than Princess Leia. That white outfit.
Yeah.
God, yeah, that's really really good.
Oh, which reminds me, like in terms of sex, like so does that mean like everybody who likes the original trilogy is into incest? Is that accurate?
Wow.
Well,
Because
yeah.
everybody
Well,
praises the writing of the original trilogy, right? But if you think about it, you can clearly see George just fumbling his way through because he wrote basically like an incest kind of thing if you're looking backwards on it.
Well, he knew it was incest the whole time.
Maybe, yeah.
well,
He just
it's
wanted
either
to us.
it's either you like incest or you like Shotter, because in the prequels, it's Anakin's like 10 years old. And
That's
so,
true. Like I was
Padme's
surprised by how like Chad Anakin is. He's just like
yeah, I
walking
know.
up to some bitch. He's just like, "Yo, you angel falling out of the sky." He's just rizzing Natalie Portman up.
There were plans
Yeah.
to make him a little bit older so that it wouldn't be as jarring, but yeah, now the way it is, it's like it's so it's like so ridiculous. She's like, yeah, this kid hitting on her, and then I think Jar Jar says something about how hot it is, and you're like, wait, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
Star,
Jar Jar knows.
Star Wars is like,
Jar
are
Jar knew
you?
what was up, bro.
Star Wars is like, are you into pedophilia or incest? And you're like, oh fuck, I didn't
Pick your,
calculate this.
pick your poison.
I didn't calculate this.
And like, not to, because I'd way prefer to talk about. Well, but what's worse? Is incest worse or is Shotacon worse?
Well, Natalie waited,
incest
right?
between consenting adults. Shotacon.
These are the
Natalie
questions
waited,
we pose
right?
on Subverted Subversions, okay?
She did wait. She did. She did
Yeah.
wait. She
So
waited,
if you wait for your Shotacon to grow up, that makes it
Yeah, yeah,
legal.
yeah.
It makes it creepy, but it's still technically legal.
Yeah. I always see Daily Mail articles about that. It'll be like, teacher jailed. You know, it's usually a man for having sex
Bro.
with a girl, and he's like, we didn't have sex until after she finished. She graduated. We never had a relationship. Yeah. And then everyone's like, oh, that's so true. He should be free to fuck whoever he wants. You know. But no one. You know, no one put Padme in chains.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I don't know if you guys have kept up with the gaming industry, but there's this game like called Pragmata that's come out, and
Hear about it.
yeah. It's basically you're like a dad and there's like a little girl, and like all the voids are like getting like bent out of shape about it, but then like Mary Morgan from like the Tim Pool Show or whatever, the Blaze, like she got community noted where it's like, and I didn't know this. Apparently, females like assault their high school students more than males do, which I thought was kind of wild. I
You
didn't
do
know
see a lot
that.
of articles about that, but I always assume that's just because it's guaranteed to get everyone hard, basically, when they post like teachers. But yeah, you see so many articles about it. Because what is the story with Pragmata? Because I have seen this girl, and I see I know that there's controversy, but I don't even know what it is.
It's basically you're a minor and then you have like this daughter foo girl and she's like an android basically, but
Oh, she's not real. Okay, yeah.
yeah, but you're trying to escape the moon or some shit. Here,
Yeah,
Jesse,
yeah.
let me give you an image of what I'm talking about. And all the women are like, you want to fuck this little child? I can already see, you know.
Oh, why? What's the? Why do they want?
Because it's
Are
Japanese.
Is it Yeah. Okay. Does he have that? Did he get that android as a kind of Ryan Gosling Blade Runner? He gets a girlfriend. Like, does your minor? Did he buy a daughter? Is that why he has it?
No, she's like on the moon base. So basically, like, you're sent to like fix this moon base, but it turns like the moon base is 3D printing robots that want to kill humans or some shit. And then, but she's like the only good 3D robot that was 3D printed. But she's also really small, and she's like your daughter, and then she helps you to escape the moon base, basically.
Cool. Well, it's like there's been a million, isn't there? Like 100. Yeah, exactly.
BioShock.
100%. And same with like The Last of Us. What is it? You're a dude, and you've got Juno, whatever her name is. Ellen Page is your.
Ellen.
You've got that Juno.
Yeah. And you know that's the classic yarn.
It's a good dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think people were like talking about the feet, but now that I'm looking at it, like BioShock also had little girls with like bare feet, so it's it's the motif.
True. Yeah.
It's just the current era to want to draw like sexualized conclusions immediately, you know, to try and make something seem way more just insidious than it actually is.
Yeah, and I think like also it doesn't make sense because like if you look at the silhouette of the Pragmata girl, she has like a giant jacket, like it doesn't conform to her silhouette at all.
But I guess I get it. Not there would have been, and there probably like to be. If I go to 4chan right now, and if I go to if I
Yes.
go to the video game board, and if I go and find a thread about Pragmata, there are going to be people making lolicon jokes, right?
Oh
That's just
yeah.
Yeah.
so. In that, not that and I would even say that 80% of them are literally just they're kidding. Lolicon is a joke. It is a funny sort of thing to say. It's rather, I understand it's very distasteful and so on. But I guess those women who are seething on X or wherever, maybe they're just too stupid to understand that they've come across, some idiocy on the internet and they're taking it seriously. Because I bet people have made jokes about this game
Yeah,
like that,
well, like
or
people have made
insinuation.
jokes about like BioShock with the
Yeah, exactly. I'm
weapons,
remembering
but
that
yeah,
when I see. Yeah, I
they're
I
like
swear to God, I've seen a
we're
million
gonna
memes
fuck
about
our
it.
daughter Elizabeth type shit, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So back to Star
Well,
Wars.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, I was gonna actually ask Jesse because so yeah, would this be the first time you've watched them, Jess?
Oh no, these movies have always kind of been. Well, I guess like everybody, they've always been, like a part of your life or whatever. But as far as like actually watching them goes, I have very fond memories of watching the prequels throughout my childhood. Um, Especially episode one. Actually, we had the VHS in my house, and in order to keep me preoccupied, we would just be looping that fucking that episode
Yeah,
one
yeah.
tape all the time. And as a kid, you don't like process what's good and what's bad. It's all just one equal playing field. Like it's just this one thing. It's just Star Wars. You don't comprehend like, oh, that oh, that CG scene could have been better, or this dialogue should have been better. It's like none of that mattered. It was just like it was so captivating to me, and I was so just like it would just put me in a trance, whenever it was thrown on. So it was good. It was like good catnip for me.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I
I
love Jar
agree.
Jar, and it was
That's
like
what I was gonna ask you. Is Jar
I
Jar funny?
not
Yeah,
now, but then he was, like as a kid, I thought he was hilarious. I thought he was cool. Um, and him stepping in shit was awesome, and him
Dude,
electrocuting his
it is
tongue, and
funny. I think
like,
Jar Jar is timeless, man. I think he is so funny.
dude,
He,
when they go to the city underwater, that as
yeah,
a
yeah,
kid was like mind expanding. That was
yeah,
like, oh
definitely.
man, I couldn't. I just imagined being able to swim underwater and hold my breath for however long and go through like the weird, like flimsy water walls into their
Uh-huh.
city, and like
Yeah.
it was just so expansive for a
How
kid.
cool is that city? And that city comes and goes within it would not be in the film for longer than 3 minutes. Seriously, that
Yeah,
whole little they speak to the Gungan Council, he goes, "Blah," and then they go, right?
that's
But
literally it.
it's like it's etched into your brain. It's so legitimate. That whole city
Mhm.
is is so incredible.
I would also like to add that I think Jar Jar is based because it's basically like a Jamaican black dude that's
Yeah,
acting
I know.
retarded the whole movie. And then like
That's
there's
true.
also
It
like
is.
other racist characters. Like they have the Watto Jew guy. He's just like, yeah, give me
I
I
know.
gotta sell
Yeah,
kids. Like George is just
yeah.
like bang racist stereotype. Like
Yeah.
it's fucking
Dude,
baller.
the guys are like they're Japanese. They're like,
Yes.
oh, the Jedi are coming to cut across a door.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, originally, apparently, one of the first drafts did include a big, like, racial political element to it, and so but now, like having removed that, now it's just funny. It's just like all these
Yeah,
incredible racial stereotypes and like no outlet for them to go anywhere. You're just like, oh, that's kind of an interesting choice, but it's like, oh, he originally had some 4D chess plan to have this commentary or whatever, but it works as a kid because you're just like, oh, these all these aliens sound completely different. That's so fun. They're all different
Yeah,
aliens.
yeah. It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't even like until someone pointed out to you. Even as an adult, it didn't. Like I didn't even. Those Nemoidian aliens. The design of them is so cool. Anyway, like
Yeah.
that you believe it more as the alien than as the stereotype, which
Mhm.
prevails for all of it for Jar Jar, right? Like you say, King. On one level, he's obviously a Jamaican dickhead, but he's not. He's also not.
Yeah,
He's
that is
Jar
true.
Jar.
It is so funny, like, because clearly George loves Jar Jar and wanted him to be like a big deal, but then the harsh reaction against him after episode 1, he had to completely. Oh my God, Jack. I guess for people
Yeah,
just
yeah.
listening to my insane laughter, yeah, Jack posted a picture of Jar Jar. um. Oh God, that wiped my brain. Yeah, he clearly wanted him to be something more, and had high hopes for him, and then slowly had to just not even slowly, he just had to completely erase all of those plans by the second movie. So now, like the second and third movie, Jar Jar's not stepping in shit. He's not doing anything funny. It just cuts to him at like political council meetings looking like sad.
Yeah, I know. At the back of the room in a robe. And then the sad thing is, it's really unfair because in the Revenge of the Sith, it's like you can actually miss it. It took me a while to, I never because sometimes you don't pay attention, right?
Mhm.
He's like, Padme's away. She's out and about in space, and so she leaves her delegation with Jar Jar, and so it's easy, it's the easiest thing. The Palpatine's like, well, Jar
Yeah.
Jar, you need to grant me emergency powers, wouldn't you say? Padme would want you to. And he just does. So like he's the patsy.
He
Jar Jar
becomes
is
so instrumental, actually.
Yeah,
Cause of the
yeah,
death of the Republic is Jar Jar.
yeah. Well, that's why Australians voted no on our to enshrine a voice for the First Nations people. We actually voted no because many of us are prequel patriots. We've all seen what happens
Yeah.
when you do that.
We
But
know what happens when you let Jar Jar have a
That's
say
right.
in
Exactly.
democracy.
but it's interesting though because like a lot of people complain about like the childishness of like Jar Jar Binks and like all this stuff. But like if you watch the original trilogy, it's just as childish. You have like
Oh,
C3PO and R2D2 making these dumb jokes, and like I also remember in episode 6 where like there's the Boba Fett thing, like, and they're building this guy up like he's a big bounty hunter, and then like Han just takes him out while he's blind, and he just like kills his jetpack. It's like Boba Fett is like played for laughs, you know?
Yeah,
he just
yeah. He does the
cracks.
Wilhelm scream into the pit.
Yeah. And it's like you can't tell me that this is like way more serious, my guy.
Oh no, dude. The Ewoks,
Yes.
especially, I had a hard time with the Ewoks. I don't know if anyone else did, but I was like, how am I watching this movie right now? Like they were so they were so fucking retarded.
I know.
And
Yeah, I hate it.
dude, when one of them dies and the other like picks up the dead body and is mourning it, I was just like crying laughing. I was like, this is the dumbest fucking bullshit, dude. And it's
Yeah,
most of the movie.
as a kid, I would fast forward the Ewoks. Like I really couldn't stand it. I would, yeah. But I did always like the scene when, in order to convince the Ewoks that C-3PO was a god, Luke, like, even though his
Yeah.
hands are bound, he meditates and he levitates 3PO to give him the aspect of a deity, which I always enjoyed. But yeah, I
Yeah,
would
that
skip
seems
the
funny.
Ewoks. Yeah.
Being like, yeah, lie to these, you know.
These
These
retards.
savages, yeah.
Yeah, tell the savages you're a god, and yeah, that's really that's based and funny as hell. But it's just like, and that's why I sent that picture in the group chat because I was just imagining just this crew of midgets in these little these little bear costumes being forced to do the dumbest shit.
Yeah.
It's like it's like I have a lot of obviously reverence, for like Wizard of Oz and Munchkins and little people doing like actual roles and shit. But it was just so retarded.
The chief with the skull on his head. I'm looking back at that picture you sent. He's pretty cool, actually. That skull's pretty gnarly. But yeah,
But yeah, I think though, like this goes to the point. Like I guess like we'll get into it. Like, why do the boomers worship the OT? Like, what is so sticky about it that like we had prequel hate for years? What do you guys think?
I think it's like because we all, like you said, like you guys both said, and I agree. Empire Strikes Back actually is quite ascendant, um,
Okay.
and that is what stick. When you ask what's sticky, that's what's sticky for the boomers, I think, because that's like I watched it maybe 6 or 7 months ago. Just I was bored. Um, the everyone is so charismatic in that scene where they're in the combat base in the snowy bunker on Hoth, and they're
Mm.
like talking, and like this just the count. I don't know, you would know, Jesse, because I always try and say this. I don't know any of the technical terms for film, right? But I always noticed that back in the old days, they would in movies the camera would be back, and it would be kind of like not a sitcom in general, but what would actually be on screen are the characters and the set, the whole set, the atmosphere, and they would all talk to each other with it. But now when they do movies, it's always the one shot is always over the shoulder of the person being spoken to, directly on the face of the person talking, and then it switches when they're talking. Like there's never, they never go back, and they never show the world and the characters in the world. And I feel like Empire Strikes Back is so um, they have these amazing sets in that film, and the acting is so good, and all the people are so charismatic, and Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher are like, they're chasing each other through the halls of the snowy halls. I think that the reason is that the Empire Strikes Back is actually so good and so timeless that tends to that boomers just use that as a cudgel against anything that's not that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty remarkable movie. It's fucking gorgeous, actually. And like the technical competency in the directing, just going from episode 4 to episode 5, different director, but and actually the guy who did RoboCop 2, Irvin Kershner.
Okay.
So yeah, they got a dope fucking guy to come in, and it was just the perfect marriage. He was just like the right guy for it. And like what you were saying, instead of these standard over the shoulder shots, it's these really just these breathtaking, perfectly staged, objective, wide establishing shots that capture just like all the hard work that went into those sets. And yeah, it's just like it's so visually striking, immediately on the snowy planet and their base, and just like the established camaraderie is so fluid. It's just like it's firing on all cylinders. It's so fucking stunning, actually. And I think the only thing that it's necessary to keep it Star Wars, but the only thing that kind of dips into the childishness is when Luke has to go training with Yoda. you know,
Yeah.
it's like everything else is almost treated as just like a very not like overly seriously, but like in just like we are giving you this high quality like legacy piece of entertainment. um like it's such an evolution. The first one was so scrappy around the edges, and was like stitched together but episode 5 is like, who made this who made this like almost like this profound fucking movie, and like has this total downer ending, and like it was just a great piece of art. And then you go to episode 6, and it's like they were like, it's almost like they heard complaints or something about how actually adult 5 was, and then they're like, all right, let's have the whole thing be with fucking Ewoks.
Yeah, they did spend like the last half of like basically half the
Yeah,
movie with the Ewoks, right? In the Ewok planet.
Yeah, it falls off so bad. It just like
Yeah.
and like it's actually like it's always disappointing because um when you're watching that film, because you always get caught up in films even though you know it's coming, you still go along with the momentum of it. And then there's the before they get stuck on the planet with the Ewoks, they're in the shuttle. They're going out to do whatever they're going to disable the shield. So they're covertly traveling on this stolen Imperial shuttle, and that's really captivating as well. It's very compelling.
Yeah.
And then it it falls apart. It just drops off. It falls off a cliff. These stupid
Yeah.
fucking teddy bears come along, and you're like, what the hell? Now we're
Bro, like
yeah.
again, like the beginning, like the Tatooine segment with like Luke's saving everybody, like that part was badass, you know. And then, as you said, the Imperial, but then like the rest of the movie is like it just takes place on the Ewok planet. It's like it's just not fun. Like we don't go anywhere. Like Empire Strikes Back, like you go to like 5 different planets or something. Like we're moving places and shit.
Jesse, what are those shots called? Is there a word for them?
For what the wide,
like what you posted there as well. Like, I just feel like I never see that in movies anymore.
yeah, these kind of like oh god, it's like, yeah, these kind of submarine like at attention the station sort of shots. It's like, yeah, I know there's some kind of there's some kind of word for it before that, and I'm definitely just blanking on it,
yeah.
but Star Wars, yeah, that's what's so great about that, and some of those sequences, I guess, throughout the whole original series, is that like he's clearly contextualizing like like all this like imagery that you're familiar with into this completely brand new way.
Yeah. I would ask Jesse, like, since you're the director guy, would you say the original trilogy or the prequel trilogy is shot better in terms of like technicalities?
Oh man. uh hmm I think the original ones speak more to how I like to see things framed, because the original trilogy, I'm a big fan of like stationary shots where it's just like, we are going to determine what, like the best looking possible frame is, and then we're going to have the whole scene like play out within these very structured
Yeah.
frames.
Yeah.
And so the staging and the framing of the original ones are pretty stunning, and are, I think, on par with a lot of, like masterful movies. Like, I mean, 5 in particular, as over the other ones, is like, holy shit, this is like a masterclass in framing and direction. And then these new ones, it's like I don't even like think about the camera work so much, because they're kind of like utopian. They're kind of like, the camera work is like trying to facilitate the most perfect representation of a specific type of motion. So it's like, a lot of the camera work is like, it's like a quick slow, not a slow, a quick like panning up, or a panning across, or slight push in, to like establish a scene. And it's usually in conjunction with some kind of special effect. Like, the camera work is always in conjunction with trying to present a really grand, innovative special effect. So the direction in the prequels is almost invisible. It's like, and it's kind of hard to say like which one is better in that regard. I think I like auteurship more, but there is something to be said about direction that is completely invisible and is just there to facilitate, to the best of its ability, you know, like an image, you know, one thing to the next. I'm not sure if if explaining
No,
that
that makes sense.
perfectly. But like, yeah, if you watch a movie that is really expensive and it's a high quality product, and you know, there is sometimes, if it's really good, then there is kind of almost a lack of auteurship. It's almost like the director becomes invisible because he's just trying to facilitate, um, you know, the perfection of the experience, and not have you get bogged down and, you know, distracted by his guiding hand. um you know, so it really, I guess, I guess I prefer auteurship, but it's like, I don't mean that in any way to be denigrative of the of what he accomplishes in the prequels, because it's totally different and totally maximalist and completely insane in comparison.
Yeah, it's your. I like that it's he presents a utopia like the prequel galaxy is so nice. Like
Yes.
you and that's why I think it is. That's especially why it would have appealed. Like it's new anyway, so young people want what's new. That's how they work. But the the vibe of the whole galaxy as vibrant and nice and beautiful and futuristic. Um, yeah,
It's
yeah, it's
so
so
much more
clean.
alive, you know,
Yeah,
like compared to
Hmm.
like the original trilogy where things feel kind of dead. Um, it just the prequel trilogy has a lot more vibrancy, as you said, to it, you know.
and
And
I think it's also the designs of in particular, and they've gone on to
yeah,
be quite appreciated because they were used by the some of the Disney shows as like a kind of the one thing that they did call back to the prequels. The starship designs for the Naboo, like the Nab, this they're they're just so sleek and futuristic
bro,
and
Yeah.
dude, yeah, I totally the designs are, I think, totally 1000% agree. Like it's better in the prequels. They're just the lines are sleek, you know, or like Padme's outfits, you know, everything in the original trilogy is kind of blocky, kind of, and maybe that's what they were going for. But like the everything in the prequel trilogy is just exquisite in how it looks. Um, it's just great. So
You can tell that George like wanted to, you know, like this, you know, these were trapped inside him. And he
yeah,
was just like, there were a lot of you know, there was just the technical limitations of the time. He just like couldn't, you know, he couldn't be able to you know, like there are shots of like of the ships like going through the cities and stuff like that, even in the original ones, and you know, they're pretty janky. They're clearly, you know, early special effects stuff. And but you can see in his head like what he wants to do, like the potential of what, you know, what the vision could be. So
yeah,
yeah.
Bespin, the Cloud City in Empire Strikes Back. I used to love that as a kid when it would get to that part. You know, all of the like the floating, um, they're floating amongst the stars, and it's rather sleek and utopian in there too. Uh, I think that's a great example of, because George carried on with that more or less throughout the entire
yeah,
prequels. Is
Mhm.
the idea he had at Cloud City.
sure. I
Yeah, and
do
just refined it.
I do want to go back a little bit to the directorship because I just remembered something, which is was Star Wars like the beginning of brain rot? Because I was
Yes,
like,
actually.
yeah, like I was watching episode one and like you can see like Jar Jar, and but like the first thing that stuck out is like when they're escaping Tatooine, I think, or wherever they're going, and then like I think that they're escaping Naboo, and then like the cannons start. It's like the introduction to R2, and then they like start shooting off all the droids one by one. And it's like R2 survives, but like it happens so fast, and like it's completely stupid how all the shots and explosions are happening, and like. But like it's happening so fast. I'm like, is this brain rot? Like, just stupid shit is happening all the time. So I don't know if Star Wars is like the progenitor of brain rot, basically.
Yeah, Well, because a lot of people credit. I forget if Jaws came first or if Episode 4 came first, but Episode 4 especially cemented its place as like a blockbuster film. There weren't film before then. There weren't like these like ideas where we're like, okay, the summer is going to be huge, so we need to put so much fucking money into something that's going to please everybody. Everyone's going to want to come out and see it like it's an amusement park ride or something. And it's just going to deliver on all the possible thrills and entertainment value that you would want, like as an audience member. The same year, Friedkin, who had made some pretty incredible movies, he is like the definition of like auteurship, and Star Wars is like the definition of like this new potential corporate model, and it completely snuffed out Friedkin's Sorcerer. And that was kind of just this defining cultural moment where it was like, all right, this is what movies can be now. This is what cinema can be. Like, let's make room for the potential for these mega successful concepts. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then it's like the first episode 1 is so fucking like all over the place, ADHD crazy, because they have so many ideas and they can't hone them all in and put them all into one thing that makes like coherent sense, or like they're trying to wrangle it and wrestle it to the ground because it's so futurist. The idea that like that movie is like 30 years ahead of its time, basically.
Yeah.
Culture had to become super ADHD for us to actually look back at what they were doing in the original movies and appreciate them. So I guess that all is one long rant of being like, yeah, it is the progenitor
Yeah.
of brain rot.
Yeah, because I was looking at it, like there's so many things happening on like a screen at a single time in the prequels. Whereas in
Hmm.
episode 4, it's much slower. It's more, I guess you could say, traditional. I mean, it was still a blockbuster, but like the speed at which things happen in the prequels is like kind of blazingly fast. And I was like, this is brain rot. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Jack. Oh,
Yeah, well, it's obvious. Again, it's obvious why young people prefer the prequels.
yeah, no, that makes sense. Star Wars just starts everything. And yeah, the ship designs in the prequels are banger. You just posted more. They're all cool. They have great designers, but I don't know. I guess
Yeah,
old
by the
people
time,
hate them too.
dude, by the time the effects in the first one,
Mhm.
we're so revolutionary at the time, even though they don't quite hold up, and like some of the physics are still kind of being ironed out. By the time you get to the third one, it almost looks basically like where we're at now.
Bro,
Like
yeah,
that opening to episode 3, where they're just like the camera's just following the two Obi-Wan and Anakin in their ships as they're just like cruising through this massive fucking war in the middle of space. All of a sudden it's like, yeah, that looks about as good as anything that comes out now.
Yeah, I know. It's really astounding. Hey, that scene in particular is so well done
I,
and it's
it,
so
it
endearing.
it felt like kind of also like we keep saying that like looking back, dude. I feel like those prequels like started so much shit because like this episode 3 came out in 2005, I think, and like Transformers, which people still love for its CGI, that came out in 2007. Like George was doing like basically like the blockbuster CGI that everybody like knows now in episode 3 and even episode 1 and 2, right? Like he's doing all the things that we see today basically, but Jar Jar bad, so nobody appreciates it.
Yeah, dude. Because their company, ILM,
Yeah,
which is like responsible for all of this innovative, special effects work. They also did Transformers, so we would not have Transformers if we didn't have fucking Jar Jar.
Yeah, and like all the other rest of the CGI. I mean, ILM's basically number one. I don't know a studio that's like they are basically the CGI mill, right? Like I don't know any other CGI mills that like are as renowned as ILM. Basically, like
So
all their
cannot, because I don't know how
collaborations.
it works, but does that mean that no one really um, who was involved in the production of the prequels, whether it's Lucas or anyone else, can no one really take credit for the CGI? Is that was basically outsourced? Is that what you're saying?
No, because I think George built ILM, right? Am I
Yeah,
retarded? Yeah.
Oh, bro.
yeah. I'm pretty sure he's the founder of ILM.
Fucking hell. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and the
he
only other one I
yeah.
could think of is Weta.
Yeah, Weta.
But where would they be without fucking? I mean, I think because
Yeah.
I think that's James Cameron's group. So it's like, yeah, him and George Lucas have always been neck and neck, pushing forward and advancing, special effects technology in movies.
Yeah. I mean,
Where's the use of
basically
beer without us?
like I hear like ILM's like lighting technology is like basically like eons ahead of everybody else's. So Weta, I think they make good statues basically. And I think they did the CGI for like the Lord of the Rings.
I
Yeah.
think that might have been Weta,
Yeah. That's Weta. So
but like everyone was freaking out just a couple years ago because of Way of the Water came out, and no one
yes,
had seen like water sims like that before, where it just looked completely identical to to reality.
that's true. So it is. It's basically Weta and Island. It's just James Cameron and George Lucas, but it makes sense.
It's just like it's just come so far from like the
Yeah.
originals where it was like, all right, we just have to rely on matte paintings for everything, and like making these crazy composite images where we stitch together, um like like a little bit of a practical set and then mostly just a gigantic painting.
No, actually, Jesse, have you seen like this video where it says like everything is basically CGI in movies now? I don't know if you've seen it, but
No, I haven't, but
like
I can imagine.
you know like Top Gun Maverick, right? Or the new Top
Yeah.
Gun, whatever it was, where like people were like, "Oh, it's in real jets or whatever."
Yeah.
That's true of some shots in the cockpit, but actually, like they break it down, like the jets that you see that are doing the run, that's all CGI, which is crazy.
Right, and a big push behind that movie was people being psyoped into believing that those actors were legitimately
Yeah,
like doing all the stunt work in the movie. Like I think like dude, yeah, if you still talk to some boomers who saw that movie, they're like, "And they really did that." And you're like, "No, they fucking did it, dude."
yeah, and
Uh
it's just old
yeah.
people where they're like, we need movies like the prequels had too much CGI. It's like, no, like every movie has CGI now. You fucking retard. Like you.
Yeah, dude. And there are some directors who are doing it so masterfully that yeah, like you can't even tell. Like David Fincher literally will CGI like blades of grass into the foreground and
Holy fuck.
you would never fucking know, but it's just because his perfectionist autism is like, you know what? There's something wrong about this. I need a little extra. I need something right there, you know? And it's just like, holy shit, dude. Or, I just want like a little strand of hair over, the side of her eye or something, and then, but again, yeah, you would have no fucking clue actually how inundated you are with CG.
Yeah. Um. I don't know if you have any more notes, Jack. Or
Timeless. Timeless, influential, obviously, kind of essential. Once again, the prequels proved to be basically essential to everything we know now, and the sequels proved to be entirely irrelevant.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I will say though, on episode 8, I think, where everybody was getting mad about like the tree burning because of the Jedi or whatever, like they were burning the ancient Jedi tree. Um, Again, I haven't watched the movie, so maybe I'm talking about out of my ass. But like watching the prequels, where like the Jedi Council are kind of cunts to Anakin. Like it's like it kind of makes sense actually that you would burn it, but it also in kind of way probably is just like some female being like, yeah, but we burn all the things that you like anyway. So it's probably like a double entendre thing, but
Yeah, it's hard for me to see it any other way. I haven't seen the movie, but no, they burn the texts. They burn
hmm
because I see the meme, the sacred texts. Um, um, and or maybe there's a tree. I don't know. And yeah, it's difficult for me to understand it as anything other than like the kind of meta retribution towards men and all things like that, other than something else, something meaningful. Because I don't
well,
think it has
well,
anything meaningful.
but the Jedi are retarded, right? Like in a way where it's like, oh yeah, you can't fuck bitches and shit. Uh,
Well, but what? Heaps of military orders used to have oaths of celibacy, and so on.
okay, I'm just not a historian. Sir. Oh, I'm
Well,
just like, yeah,
no, you're obviously you're a contemporary gooner, and you
yeah.
you don't understand.
War must be celibate.
Yeah, that's why like some fighters like won't, they won't have
That's
sex
true.
like 24 hours before a big fight or something because they don't want to like it to fuck with their, like their internal chemistry and shit. They want to be in complete control of every aspect. And yeah, you could see how that could kind of like loosen you up or something and not make you as rigid.
Yeah, that's like that's the whole premise of that. It was surprising to me, actually, how much that is the premise of Raging Bull when I watched it because I'd not seen it. Um, he spends so long talking about his he must not have sex,
Yeah.
and like, and it was just I was like it just continues to go back around to that. It was funny. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, that's a pretty stunning aspect of that movie.
Yeah.
Jack, do you think
Man,
the midi chlorian hate is overblown?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I have to be honest. Like, I prefer it as a kind of intangible, immeasurable, spiritual kind of flowing. It's meant to be but in the I can get I can be really autistic about it, and I will. In the character Qui-Gon Jinn in The Phantom Menace refers to something called the living force, which he understands as um he describes the living force, quote unquote, much the same way that Yoda describes it in The Emperor Strikes Back, as like as a field that's all around us, it binds us and whatever. And so I prefer the mystical point of view rather than the scientific, you've got a power level type thing. Um, but yeah, midichlorians are cool.
I I would
They're just
I
a measurement.
I would say though that midi chlorians it's kind of in the same element because I watched episode 4 and Obi-Wan's like the force is like this field that surrounds all living beings. It's basically a scientific kind of explanation. Like and midi
Yeah,
chlorians
yeah,
are basically and like if you watch episodes 1 to 3, I don't think you're like the force has suddenly become scientific. Like the, George, I think like there's so many synchronicities basically in episodes like 1 to 3. Like it's basically like everything happens for a reason. Kind of, I think they kind of say that basically in all of Star Wars.
yeah,
So
mhm.
yep.
I don't think it loses any of its magic, honestly.
And yeah, no, I think you're right. And like a lot of people, if you take a kind of a predictive aspect of the midichlorians, that whole debate, right? In the same way, and I'll speak as broadly as possible because I'm not prepared, nor do I know much about it, generally speaking. But the notion, for example, of human biodiversity or the importance of IQ, right?
Mm.
Where it's like the sense there when a person first encounters the notion that IQ determines a lot about you and maybe like your the success you may or may not have, people they kind of naturally get very afraid and they have a reflexive reaction. They're saying like, you're trying to put people in boxes. You're saying that you're worth nothing if you've got a certain IQ, or if you're a particular race, and if you're like, and you know you're more likely than this, then you can write that whole race off. Whereas like the truth is that, you know, all of these rules, all of these, you know, all of this understanding of IQ, such that it's right or wrong, should and still does not have any bearing on you as a person. You're still alive. You still have agency, and you know, with your strengths and weaknesses, you can still do everything you can to succeed. And you know, so much that like I actually believe that IQ is rather deterministic. It determines a lot about you. I actually believe myself that I probably have like a low IQ. I'm not just being silly. I think I have a low IQ, but I don't even care. I'm like, well, I'm still cruising. I'm doing my best. I'm trying to have fun. I'm trying to succeed. You know,
Yeah.
and I just keep living, and it doesn't bother me. And I think midi-chlorians could be seen as that kind of feeling that, like you say, it puts a scientific number on it, but it doesn't yeah, it doesn't disrupt or negate the mysticism of the film. And again, I think Qui-Gon Jinn kind of proves that, because he spends a lot more time expounding on the virtues of the living force than he does. He merely defines what midichlorians are when Anakin asks him, and that's it.
Bro, like Tuki's Mag is gonna lampoon it. They're gonna be like, Jack and like, everybody else here has a low IQ. That's why we like the prequels.
I started off
I have low
saying
IQ,
you're
and
a
I think the
retard,
prequels are
man.
great. Well, everyone loves a base retard, right? So
Yeah,
if
we
you
are
got low
base
IQ, you've
retard.
got to
That's
be one.
true.
Yeah.
That's what you come here for the base retards.
This is the base retards. Yeah, for sure.
It is funny that people took it as like as a personal assault to their character, to be like, "Oh, midichlorians, that means I can't be a Jedi?" It's like, yeah, nigga, you can't be a fucking Jedi.
So true, hey. That is basically what it meant to people, you know. That they could have just meditate and relinquish fear, and then maybe it would come true one day. Yeah.
Nope. Yeah, and like you were saying, King, it doesn't take away from any of like the clear synchronistic, you know, like fatalistic elements to the whole thing, where it's just like,
Yeah.
it's all about, you know, everything mirroring each other, you know, and just like crazy beautiful coincidences and all that stuff. Can we talk for a second about Anakin slaughtering a bunch of children?
Let's go.
Yeah. That's a great. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, his penchant for slaughter in general, right?
He does it in 2 movies. He
Yeah,
slaughters a bunch of kids.
And Padme thinks it's hot, so it's all good.
She does.
Yeah, she stays with him for a while after that, which is like pretty astounding, actually.
No, on her deathbed, she's like, I know he killed those kids, but he still got good in him. You know?
He still got that good thing, dude.
Imagine that's what a sexy Jewess, a sexy ride or die Jewess, right? That's what really, that's the key to Star Wars, basically.
She's like, I'll help you bury those kids.
Sure. I think actually, King, in Knights of the Old Republic 1, I think she's a Jewess too.
Really?
Your companion.
Oh, that's so funny.
Take a look at it.
I mean, she looks Jewish. Yeah, I'll co-sign it. I don't need to know. She's Jewish.
Yeah, come on.
I'll co-sign.
Well,
but yeah, what do you think about it, Jess? Because it's like it's definitely very dark, and then, but the truth is he really falls to the dark side. What did you think that meant, right? Did you think it just meant vibes, right? Or whatever. Like, he he carries out a very dark order, and he gets there. He's there before, he doesn't actually need the influence of Palpatine. Actually, he slaughtered before he was turned, basically.
He really actually just needed a little nudge because he's already there.
Yeah, he's there. Yeah.
Yeah, that line is incredible. Where he says he killed the men. He goes, and the women, and the children too.
Oh, it's so bold.
Yeah.
I hate them. Like, holy fuck.
And then like that pic that you referenced on Twitter where he enters the room full of the younglings, and the one goes up to him and goes, oh hey, what's going on? He just whips out his lightsaber and you go, oh fuck.
I know, and the GIF captures it so well. That horrifying little flinch the little kid does. The kid like backs it. It's terrible.
It is actually super dark,
Yeah,
despite me
the
laughing.
kids are
Yeah.
they're hiding in the Jedi Council chambers. They hide the kids in like the highest place of authority. Like they would they presumably you're a kid in this military academy, this order. You generally would daydream about that seat of power, and then you're it's really terrible. That's where he kills them too, in the Jedi Council chambers. Horrible.
Yeah, it's a proto school shooting scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I
They even like Obi-Wan and Padme like stumble upon the scene, and they're like looking at just a bunch of dead kids laying on the ground. It's pretty fucking nuts.
Yeah. They watch him. They see surveillance footage of him doing it.
Yeah. Yeah,
And I
they
do
go,
like
I can't watch this anymore.
I like that like Obi-Wan is like he's trying to kill him in the when he goes to fight him on the lava planet. It does it. I think even Yoda tells him like, yeah, you've got to do it. Like this is
Yeah.
unfortunate. Like, and I like that the Jedi have some resolute. They resolve there to kill Anakin, and Obi-Wan really does actually try and kill him the whole time, which is good. It does away with some of that hammy pacifism that sometimes you get stuck in with Star Wars in general.
yeah, like at the beginning of episode 3 where it's like, it's not the Jedi way to kill this dude.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, yeah. He could well have been a political prisoner in that case. That he probably could have captured him, which is fair, right? But yeah, at the end he's like, I'm gonna kill Anakin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another good example of that is when Mace is about to murder Palpatine, and
stupid.
and Anakin's like, oh no, that's there's another way. He's obviously just trying to trying to save him or whatever, but he's like, no, we don't do that, kind of a thing. And he's like, no, actually, I'm pretty sure that we can do that. Like he's at a point. This is the guy. We just gotta kill him now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I gotta say though, I think like one of the prevailing reasons why I think the prequel trilogy is better than the original trilogy is there is like a sense of like the tragedy is there and it works. Like it's grand and operatic in the sense that episodes 1 to 3 they take place each in like 10-year increments, right? Like episode 1 and then 10 years, blah blah blah. Whereas in episodes 4 through 6, it's like running by the seat of your pants. There's not intentionality to it, to how the story is told. Whereas in episodes 1 to 3, George knows, he's planned it out, that like this all thing is gonna happen, and it works organically. And then like when you see Anakin sitting in the council chamber, like contemplating whether or not he's gonna like save Palpatine so that he can save his wife, you're like, oh fuck, it's about to get real, Like, I thought that was really good. Compared to O Trilogy, we're just like, oh, we're gonna bumble around and my dad's great and Ewoks or whatever.
Yeah, the scale and the stakes definitely kind of seem like more just way more grander and way more, like you said, operatic, like just way more Shakespearean, and yeah, and just telling this just this grand historical narrative.
Yeah, where like
Yeah,
you
there's a
gotta
lot,
like
and
yeah. Go on,
he
Sam.
it just I just you're like I say, every time you watch a film, whether you've seen it before or not, you still follow the trajectory of its emotional beat or whatever you want to call it. And there's this I literally like fall for it every time. Like there's a scene where because what you want, because the whole time Anakin and Obi-Wan are sort of bickering. They're you know that he's a rebellious son to some extent, and so you sort of wish they were nicer to each other sometimes. And there's that one, it's a really fond scene where Obi-Wan tells him he's about to head off, he's about to fly away on some mission, and he's like, Anakin, you're great, you're a great kid, you're way better than me, your potential is endless, and I'm very proud of you. And they like part as friends, and then um that after he leaves, that's when Anakin kills everyone. He returns. The next time he sees Anakin after bidding him the fondest farewell you've seen him bid him, he's trying to kill him because of all the things he's done in the meantime. Yeah,
Yeah,
very emotional.
that's crazy. Where it's like you're the greatest guy ever. It's like, oh, not really. Not.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Oh,
Obi-Wan spends most of the movie fighting Grievous.
yeah,
Yeah, they send him. They send him to the I don't know what the go was, but the Emperor wanted Anakin to go or something, and then they send Obi-Wan, and that he goes instead, a more mature mindset.
Yeah, and that, I mean, every time it was cutting to that, I was like, holy shit, this movie's fucking crazy. Um, I don't know why, but I thought him whipping out 4 lightsabers was pretty sick.
yeah.
That the little 12-year-old boy in me actually was like, oh fuck. It's like, George being like, oh yeah, you thought, fucking 2 lightsabers were cool? How about
Did
fucking
I? Yeah.
4?
That's it. It's just a top. It's just making things go more and more. Yeah.
Yeah. But
And
like
that was
when
I. Sorry, Jess.
no, I was just gonna say the way he uses them was like, yeah, it was just totally fucking insane. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that was I thought. That was the one and only thing I've ever been excited about the Disney Star Wars was when they revealed that what's his name, Adam Driver has that lightsaber with the exhaust. He like it's this kind of like shoddily put together lightsaber, so he needs 2 exhaust pipes on the side as I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know
it's
if
like a
they're.
cross, right?
Yeah, it looks like a sword with a hilt.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah.
in some ways it's a little bit silly because the truth is it serves no um, it doesn't actually give him an advantage. So whether they meant it that way or not, but I just like the look of it. I like that it's like blowing out hot fire, basically.
Yeah, it's like an actual massive inconvenience, but it looks so fucking cool.
Yeah. That was the only time I'd ever that was the only thing that really excited me about it. Because like a lot of the like if you wanted to forget, like I often think this, if you wanted to forget like the last 2 or 3 hours of whatever we've been talking about, over intellectualizing it, the reason why the prequels are so good is because they're so cool. They're so
Fair.
cool, and
Yeah.
they're male. They're masculine. They're aggressive. They're adventurous. They're unconcerned to a large extent with like meta, like maybe politics, but meta narratives of any kind, really. Like in terms of audience response or market, like whatever. Um, the sequels are just so horrible because they're so gay. Like they just suck because they're not fun and all their ideas are just really shit and lame. Like um and again that's what proved that's where the proof is in the pudding for me. Like the prequels are just so cool. The
Wait,
prequels have Darth Maul.
wait,
Like
Jesse, you
they have
watched all the sequels, right?
Yeah, I mean it's oh I I'm trying to remember if I actually finished 8 and 9. I feel like I did because like I have like vague memories of them. But the only one I am like 100% sure I know I finished from beginning to end was episode 7.
Okay. Because I was
Um,
gonna ask what your feelings were on the sequels if once you watched all of them. Because me and Jack,
oh,
we just dropped out. We
yeah, I mean they're complete incomprehensible woke dog shit. It's just like it's so funny, like all the complaints that people rallied against these movies, like those movies actually kind of double down on some of them. and to your point, Jack, about the prequels actually being like for boys, they're masculine. These sequel movies are not for boys, they're not masculine, they don't even know who they're for. They're trying to appeal to like woke lesbians or something, and that's why the only distinguishable character that anybody gives a shit about in those out of any of those movies is Kylo Ren, because he is the only character that appeals to boys, is cool, and it's like it's the one character that is like a toxic man who like is complicated and does fucked up dark shit. He's the only like real white dude. It's like they tried so hard to like to take Star Wars, to like give you Star Wars, but to also circumvent it and take it from the people that loved it the most. And yeah, funny enough, the one thing that stood amongst all of their dumb woke force bullshit was Kylo Ren, the one thing that couldn't be co-opted by it.
but isn't like the prequels have that too, where like Anakin's like a right wing authoritarian when Padme's trying to explain to him the democracy, and we have the right wing Anakin, MAGA cocking the left wing Padme. That's
Yeah, Anakin's a fucking chud. Like he in episode 2, he literally tells her that
I
like
know.
be a dictator.
He's
And
like, "What's the point of democracy? It's a waste of time. Someone should just go and tell them what to do." And she's like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Well, hey, if it works." And he like gives her like a rapey smile.
it's like how you slowly let your girl know that you're actually a fucking right winger.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
slowly,
literally, eh?
yeah, just
He's like,
breadcrumbs.
he's seducing her by revealing how based he is and frightening. She's frightening her with his baseness, but then of course
Yeah,
she's enticed by it.
yeah, this is the truth to scaring the hoes and transforming woke libtards, is that you have to seduce them and slowly uh you know slowly water drip torture them with right
Yeah,
wing
yeah,
points.
yeah. Like you're like you said that the sequels are targeted towards lesbian women, and they're targeted, but they're also that, and it's true, but they're also targeted to like menopausal fat men. Um,
yes.
and that's where and like those men that they I guess they come from. There must have been like I think there was like I don't know, an enlightened period of Gen X where they were that's where the thumbing the nose at the jock, or I don't know. For a time, people used to cringe at bands for like the last 8 years, maybe we're coming out of it, or maybe the last 12. People used to cringe at the idea of the bands like Disturbed, right, or Slipknot. People would go, "Oh yeah, I used to listen to them when I was a kid," but obviously it's a bit. But now people like them again because they're like, actually no, they were cool and they were fun and they were rambunctious and whatever. Breaking Benjamin, or you could go as
Corn.
shit as you like. Yeah, Corn, or you could even be as shit as like a band like Mudvayne, right? Some kid at my school used to listen to this band called Five Finger Death Punch. I didn't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
even in like '09. I was like, that sounds a bit cringe. Come on, right? But whatever, right? That it wasn't. I was being psyoped into thinking that. And so then there are these people who matured and turned like 35, kind of at the zenith of that whole idea. So they thought they were so enlightened, and then these movies are appeal to those like faggots, if I could put it that way,
Yeah.
basically, who don't understand that cool's cool and yeah.
It was like the height of like Scott Pilgrim, where it's like I gotta defeat all the jocks who like fucked
Yeah,
by
yeah,
feminist ex girlfriend shit. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's why it's so shit. And I remember they were saying like, oh, we've gone back to practical effects. We're using practical effects again. And one of the things that they had in that they would show, they had like the teaser, and because I remember the first film because I was so excited for it. Right, I was impressionable and whatever, and they were like the teaser and the trailer is of um this alien yet not toucan thing that's like hacking a stormtrooper helmet or something. I don't know. And it is obviously a puppet. Like it's like you're meant to know it's a puppet because it's meant to say to the viewer, "Oh, we're using practical effects again," right? And
Mhm.
everyone just like flipped out over this fucking dumb puppet clearly just being pulled by a string on its beak going ding ding and tapping a stormtrooper's helmet. And it's like that sucks. That's fucking
yeah,
stupid and not cool. Like, why the fuck is that that how is that the marketing pitch? A dumb toucan, and that is where the whole you could you could encapsulate the whole stupidity of the sequel's aesthetic
Yeah,
values in
there's
that.
there's like a strange fetishization of like old school practical special effects and makeup effects and stuff to the point where now they recreate it in a way that makes it look bad instead of like trying to do like the best possible version of it now because now we could just make something practical look incredible. They intentionally make something practical that looks bad and practical.
yeah,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know, I know.
to virtue signal or to let the audience know that yeah we're doing this trendy hip thing.
yeah. Also, talking about Quirk Chungus, Jack, do you remember Star Wars 1313?
Was that a cancelled video game?
Yeah. So this just
Yeah.
made me remember, like, so I'll post it, and this is like the concept for like Star Wars 1313, right? It's basically Boba Fett or whatever. But then if you notice, like the Mandalorian, which is like the Disney thing, they just stole everything cool from 1313 and then
Yeah,
added a
yeah.
baby Yoda to it. And I'm like, that's it. you know?
Yeah, yeah, they did. No, you're right. And even the actual design they settled on is more monochrome, less rugged than that whole setup in the concept art there.
Yeah.
No, you're right. They just made it once again faker and gayer.
Yeah, they were just like dudes. Like the original concept is too duty, and like I know people like the Mandalorian, so basically probably all the good shit from the Mandalorian is what they stole from 1313, and then the
Yeah, sure.
baby
Yeah, yeah.
Yoda is just like, oh, cause women love babies, or they love
I know,
their
right?
green gremlin
Yeah,
babies.
there needs to
Dude,
be a cute sidekick.
people in my office still like have they wouldn't even have seen the show. I don't expect they would have. But I still around my office. You know how every office has like those generic cups that people can just use. There's like
Mhm.
three of those dumb baby Yoda cups on people's desks every day. I'm like, fucking hell, man. Yeah. And I'm literally what all I am is just the seething nerd walking around the office, getting so angry because I see a coffee cup with Baby Yoda on it. So I'm literally no better, if not worse. But
Are you
makes me so
excited for the
angry.
Mandalorian movie that's coming out?
No, I don't. I literally don't consume anything whatsoever since
Okay.
what do you call it? What's that bro, I literally still I read the Timothy Zahn Thrawn novels like 2 years ago. I consume all
Okay.
sorts of my old Unk shit, but I stopped at the Last Jedi, Ryan Johnson
That's
thing.
fair. Like I always thought that like adding in Thrawn in for 7 through 9 was just like such an obvious move. Like even if it's
I
not like
know, I know.
the books, they should have just done that. But they would probably
Yeah,
fuck it
it
up
seems like a
anyway.
great, exactly, yeah. And then like they did, like again, like because I'm like I'm enough of a slop fiend that I'm on YouTube and I I don't probably even that I tire of. Like I can't even watch, because sometimes like this is like more broadly speaking, but we all know them. There are these channels that basically their whole job is to review slop, basically, and tell you it sucks and that it's woke and that it's shit, right? So I don't even watch that anymore because it's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is it going to tell you? But I used to keep up with the release of all this shit, like the uh the Amazon Lord of the Rings. I've not seen that, but I've seen all the seething about it, and all that shit.
Yeah, it's like one of the most expensive like pieces of media ever made.
And it looks so ass though. Like all the costumes and designs look like such shit, bro. I'm so tired of like everybody just like not trying in fantasy design anymore. You know?
Yeah,
Like
and that's what I was gonna say. Like, I don't know whether or not, just like whether, because it may actually be, as Larkin said, like there is still some virtue signaling about the importance of practical effects. So therefore, when they make practical effects,
yeah.
they want they're like doing it in a kind of obtuse way, or costume design or anything, to kind of make you see that it's been done, so that it gets that tick of approval. But old costume design used to be so like self-serious. When you watch old things, even like I've never seen any Star Trek films, but I see images of them and stuff like that, and you just know that what they like Larkins was saying, their whole object of the design was, how do I make this as integrated and seamless as possible? And now you when you look at practical design or costume design, it's all so horrible. And I don't know if it's just a forgotten art, like a lost art, or yeah, if they're trying to spell out to the viewer, this is practical, this is
No, you're
not
right.
CGI.
It's costume virtue signaling. You guys are
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. No, you guys are right. Where they're just like, oh, look at it's the same. It's they're waving the member berries, and it's yeah. Where basically, fuck, I lost my train of thought. Is basically yeah, they're just appeasing the fans. Where the fans like, I always hear like fans say like stupid shit, they're like, oh, like superhero designs need underwear or some like just retarded ass
yeah,
shit that people say.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you look at the modern designs where they don't have them. Like I don't know, it looks cooler to me, bro. Like they have all these like and like I think an example. I mean, I don't watch them, but like or keep up with MCU shit. But like the new Spider-Man suit in like the new movie looks so fucking ass, dude. Like
Well,
like
dude,
it
they
it's
they
just like
CGI
pajamas.
part of it. Say that again. Oh, it looks like pajamas.
Yeah, like it's bizarre.
Yeah, they
Dude,
make it more and more thin. I don't know, yeah, it is CGI'd, certainly.
they don't like the idea um of a suit like having any natural bunches. So
Yeah,
they intentionally CG where the suit naturally bunches up near the neck. So they just completely smoothed it out, and it just like has this like really funny uncanny look to it where it's just like not it's just like not part of the environment at all. Um yeah, the best costume design out of any of the newer ones came at the last 2 seconds of the most recent one, where they show him swinging literally for 10 seconds through a snowy downtown New York or whatever, and it looks like very sheen or whatever, but literally for like a decade of making these goddamn new Tom Holland movies, they've just had the most smoothed over, terrible looking CG fucking suits.
Yeah.
what
And
is
it's
that?
yeah,
What's that one called? What's that? I'd be interested to see, because I haven't seen any of the Tom Holland ones, but I do.
it's
Again, I see all the.
it's the one where like all the Spider-Men come. Was it oh shit. I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, it's the one with the multiverses. But yeah, I just posted two images where it's like the brand new
Yeah,
day, like
look at
it
that.
looks like a Halloween party fucking spirit Halloween costume. Like whereas like the old Raimi ones, it actually looks like a fucking suit.
Yeah,
I
bro,
don't
look
know.
at Toby Maguire's suit. It's so cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
no way.
Oh wait, hold. That's what it was. Yeah. Like the suit designs in the new ones, like I don't know if they're trying to like signal to like the cape shit people that we're quirky chungus suit guys who like it's just bizarre. Iron Man, yeah.
Like that was the first Iron Man, and it's like a big literal actual suit, giant thing.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
guess what's his name? Robert Downey Jr. wasn't 60 yet with AIDS, so he still looked like reasonably handsome.
Yeah.
Yeah, those especially that first Iron Man was pretty sick.
No, but like yeah. I mean, yeah, but
As far as
this
like the
whole
practical shit goes.
this just makes me think about like the moon landings where I know this is bizarre, but like for the longest time I was like, we never went to the moon because like why wouldn't we go back, and like they deleted the tapes and all this like other stuff, right? I was like, no, I don't believe we went to the moon, but now that I'm seeing things where it's like things used to be good back in 2000 where we knew how to do costume design, but now in 2026 we don't. Now I'm like, oh no, yeah, no, it makes sense why we never went back to, like, we just suck now.
Yeah, that's right. Or it makes sense why we failed to produce a another fake moon landing, and it's because we would be too obvious. Either way, whether it happened or not, we don't have the skills to do either.
Yeah, and like that's movies now. That's like Star Wars. That's like, yeah,
Yeah, that color blue, Jess, is so. I forgot about that blue color. That's the one that's in the old comics. That really nice lighter blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's you literally see it for like 10 seconds, but it is so yeah, visually just stunning and popping. And you're like, why haven't I seen this in the past like 3 or 4 fucking movies? It's
Yeah.
embarrassing. And it's funny because same movie, you see the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man wearing his suit, and they just allow him to have his natural bunches. They didn't smooth it over or CG. So it's like it's just an intentional Tom Holland choice to be like, no, this is the new modern era, and we don't allow for mistakes.
yeah, yeah. I don't know.
So
Studios do
you're
weird shit.
you so you're a fan. You're a big Cape shit fiend. Larkins, is that right? You love
Oh
Marvel.
no, I mean I hate. I feel like I don't even need to explain this to you, Jackie. Yeah. I
No,
I
I'm
have
like,
seen,
yeah.
I have seen so many of these goddamn movies though.
It does happen. You always I'm like always the humiliating cynical chat. I'm like, I'm not watching that. I'm not gonna watch it.
Mhm.
And then like in particular for me, like my brother-in-law comes to town and he's just a friendly, optimistic guy, and he's like, hey, should
Yeah.
we watch this? I'm like, okay, well, whatever. We'll watch it, eh? Like why would
Yeah,
you?
it's so it's
Yeah.
it's so weird when you're surrounded by normies and they're like they can't wait. Like this is the only reason like I know about Spider-Man, like because like I'm around normies and shit. They talk about it. I'm like, oh okay. Or and they'll be like, Dune 2 is the greatest movie I've ever seen. Okay, I haven't watched Dune 2. I don't know. Maybe it is. I kind of have a sneaking suspicion that you're kind of overhyping it, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, I don't, yeah, I'm surprised that Dune actually did not really occupy much of this
I
conversation at
know.
all,
I
really.
know. You can't, yeah, it's true. It's true. I can't even. I have seen them both, but I can't really remember. Um, did I? The costumes were probably good. I think they probably were, to be honest.
You're all right, yeah.
They're not very like visually exciting or anything like that. They're pretty just like they're pretty practical. Um, I remember really it's funny to say I remember. Even though they just came out, I really liked them when they came out. But I remember a couple months ago I tried to show my girlfriend part 1, and I felt so embarrassed. like like we
What
were
was that?
we were watching it, and I was like, "Oh, dude, this is like kind of cringe." I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Yeah.
bro. I was
Absolutely.
just about
Oh,
to say, like, I remember watching Dune 1. I'm like, this shit is so slow. And then, like, they go outside, and then there's like a sinkhole or whatever, and then there's an attack, and then the movie ends. I'm like, this took 3 hours. You could have done this in like 20 minutes.
I always
that's
wonder
so
if that's
true.
if that's actually happening or not. Like, because there's we all the living force, right? The living force is an energy field. It surrounds us. It binds us.
Yeah.
When you're watching something for the first time and it's really cool and you're really enjoying it, and then that's the general energy that must be in the room. Probably you're on your own, so it's hard to say. And then you show someone else, and because I've had that experience as well, and then you're showing it to someone, and suddenly it reads as cringe, and I am one like, am I just feeling it, or is there some chemical kind of imbalance that's triggered in the room? Maybe our pheromones are some signal. Are we both feeling the cringe? Is it now? Is the art now dulled because of the feeling in the room, or is it just something that's in your head? Because I get it the most with stand-up comedy, and I got it especially when I was a kid, when I was
Yes.
13 or something. Like, I watched Dane Cook's he's on the Vicious Circle by Dane Cook,
Yeah.
and pissed and shit myself laughing. I honestly thought it was the funniest thing ever, and I tried to show my girlfriend, and it was just horrible. And both of us, like even me, I was like, "This sucks," and she's like, "This is shit." And I'm like, if is something gone wrong here? Like, if she had found it on her own or in a more organic way, would she find it funny? Like, yeah,
No, I had a similar experience. Like I was a big fan of the original trilogy, and then I showed my girlfriend, and she was like, "Shit, this is shit." And I was like, "Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's accurate." Totally true. 100% happened.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's and that's always
Thanks,
such
Phil.
a just a confronting experience to be like, was I wrong?
Yeah,
Like, where did I go wrong? What am I like? Am I terrible at like passing judgment or something? Um,
I'm
but
curious.
yeah,
Did
it's like
did
it's
your
such an eye
Floyd
opener.
watch Star Wars, or
What was that? Sorry.
did your Floyd watch Star Wars?
No, no.
Okay.
Which is funny because um, for years that was just like something she was always like, "Oh, I'll never watch that shit. That's some dork nerd shit. Like, fuck that," kind of a thing. Like, even more anti than me. Like, even more, like art ho. Um, but then when it came to me being like, oh, I'm gonna be watching these movies, she was actually very down and was like, oh, that sounds cozy, that sounds very comfy, and it was. I was just like, it was very relaxing and comfy to just like throw on these Star Wars movies, even though they're like full of like burnt corpses and random and like random like child slaughter and shit. It's like they're very comfy, cozy, and just good for just like laying in bed or laying on the couch and just mellowing out to them.
Nice.
yeah. I think if I've watched Star Wars in the last 10 years, it's only been in bed. It's exclusive. It's bedtime material now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I threw on episode because yeah, like 30 years, 20 something years full circle. I got my own VHS copy of episode 1 again, just like when I was a kid, and
Oh,
I've been every now and then I'll put it on just to go to sleep because it's so relaxing. And I mean, honestly, as soon as people just start talking about taxation and trade routes and stuff, my mind just starts my mind starts going blank and I just get tired and go to go to sleep.
yeah. Is
so do you have a
is
VHS set up at home, Jess?
Yeah, I've got like this box TV with a built-in VHS player into it. So I just
Oh,
I
cool.
just watch a ton of VHSs.
Great.
I do have to ask though, like, it's Star Wars is so like big. It's like, is Star Wars America? Is like Star Wars American cinema, like how it is basically?
You
Um,
do you mean like the series as a whole? Is it American, or do you
Yeah,
mean like the
like
movies have become
like how
America?
big, like how McDonald's is America, like
Yes,
Burgers are
definitely.
Star Wars is
Definitely.
America, you know.
Absolutely.
So
That's our tradition. That's our heritage.
our heritage is Star Wars movies.
Yeah, I mean it's so like richly ingrained in American culture, and it's just like it's like this inescapable like grand achievement, you know, and it's like you couldn't grow up without um you know, like watching a billion TV shows that referenced it or other movies that referenced it, like either outright calling it out or making jokes to it or alluding to it or just being inspired by it. It was just like this inescapable artifact that completely changed American culture and by virtue the world. But yeah, it's ours for sure.
Oh yeah. So, I don't know why I asked that question when Jack is Australian. Like, wait a second, that doesn't make any sense.
What
No,
have you guys ever done?
we Australia is just a province of the American cultural empire.
That's true.
It's so easy for me to say that with no concern whatsoever.
Hmm.
So yeah, I feel entitled to my answer.
It's our biggest export. That's how we
Yeah.
wrangle the Australians. But
Yeah, 100%. It
I don't
it
know.
bridged international gaps.
I don't know if we have any more notes. We're coming up on like 2 hours 30 minutes. Um, do you guys have anything else you
Yeah,
wanted to get off your chest?
I've got nothing cerebral to say. I've got plenty of guttural, penile things to say, but who's to say?
Yeah, I didn't really have any other notes like
Okay.
that either.
I think we should though end it with our Star Wars rankings for
Okay.
all the movies.
Um,
So I
um,
guess I'll start first, and then we'll go to Jesse, and then end with Jack.
Okay.
So I think for me, um, I'll say 6 was the worst. Then I'd go 4. Then I'd go 5, and then 2, and then 1, and then 3 is the best. So that's my ranking. I don't know. That's it. Prequel Mog. What about you, Jesse?
I'd go five. Five is my favorite,
Okay.
and then probably episode three. Um, just yeah, just because a lot of these actually you know, sometimes my attention would just start like wandering and I'd have to rewind them, but um with a couple with five and three in particular, I was just like I was so locked in the zone. Yeah, five in particular, but then but so the five and then three and then probably two, honestly. I know two gets a lot of shit, but like I was having so much fun with it, almost in almost in a Escape from LA type of way, where it was like it's so fucking absurd and so over the top that I was just rolling with it. I was just cruising with it. Um, and then oh god, and then I'd probably go New Hope, and then Phantom Menace, and then Revenge of the Sixth is my least. Not Revenge of the Sixth.
Return of the Jokers.
Return of the Jedi. Yeah, Episode 6. That one was my least favorite too. I think because that one was just like I had a real hard time sitting through that Ewok shit. It was,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
I was like, how am I sitting here still watching this? It was pretty bad. It was like, dude, it felt like oxygen coming back into the room every time I would cut to Luke dealing with Vader.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's such a it's such a relief every time it goes between those scenes. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like, oh, thank God.
All right, Jack. Your rankings,
Yeah,
the real true
I
ones.
Hmm.
I think Revenge of the Sith this would be just mine. I can't really speak to anything objective, um, but I think Revenge of the Sith is number one. I think it is like the culmination of everything that is Star Wars. The energy, the vibe, the aesthetic, just the two Jedi flying through space, mixing it up, dogfighting in the gigantic space battle, whatever. Empire Strikes Back is number 2, obviously technical masterpiece, and more than that, the charismatic actors. Attack of the Clones, number 3, completely agree. The world building of that film. He goes to Camino, the clone empire. The dudes have long necks with short heads. The
Oh
prime minister
yeah.
has a mohawk. Like it's just got cool shit that just
Yeah.
makes it, yeah. Um, Return of the Jedi is actually number 4 for me. The Ewoks are like the Ewoks are irredeemable, but Return of the Jedi is cool because Mark Hamill does a great job of playing the mature Luke Skywalker. Like I love that. I love the performance that Mark Hamill gives, and that scene in Jabba's palace. He's so cool. He's got so much mastery. He there's a plan. He's got a plan. He's wearing black. He force chokes the pig. That's pretty fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'll go the Phantom Menace. That's just fun, but it's just not as much of a spectacle. And A New Hope last. It's good, but you know what? It's unk as fuck, and it's pretty shit, and it's gay. So,
It's all.
yeah.
I'll just say like
Okay,
as a last aside, like for my rankings, I was watching like the old trilogy and I was like, I only like these characters because of the prequels. Like I felt like Darth Vader had so much more context because of the first prequels. I'm like, I feel like if I didn't have this context, I wouldn't like these movies. So, yeah,
Yep.
it's a little added bonus. The characterization in the prequels is better, whatever.
Yeah.
Prequel Chads stay winning. The
Yeah.
prequels now make the originals. They endorse the originals. The originals only have relevance now still because of the prequels. I will
True.
say. So
True
Yep.
facts. All right. Yeah, so I'm King Cringe. Send all hate mail to me for the prequels being better than the original trilogy. But also read Hate Spree, very cool. Lots of sci-fi pew pew, just like Star Wars. Read for free on Substack or Twitter or whatever. Jesse.
Yeah, this is Jesse Larkins. You can buy my book, Soap Scum. It's pretty great. It has no sci-fi pew pew shit in it. It's actually the exact opposite. So if that sounds good, check it out. Even if it doesn't sound good, just buy it and check it out anyway. And then yeah, send me hate mail too. I'll take hate mail. Yeah, sure. Jack.
if you want to hear more about Knights of the Old Republic 2, then buy, sleep, Capricorn. That's all I can say.